everyone, welcome back to Garage Cricket. It's me Jivanta and today I'll be talking about the sweet spot of a cricket bat. Sweet spot of a cricket bat is an important aspect that a batsman needs to keep in mind while buying his cricket bat or even using his cricket bat, because sweet spot is basically the meat of the bat where there's a maximum ping once the ball hits the bat, and the bigger the sweet spot of the bat and it's the better, and it depends where the sweet spot should be. Like someone like Tendulkar who drives the ball is usually has contact in the lower part of his bat, and then if you're hitting a big shots or in the mid-on region or the mid-off region, then the ball usually hits the upper part of the bat, somewhere over here. So you need a sweet spot that's upper than the lower part region. So it depends. If you're a big hitter, usually bat experts recommend that the sweet spot should be higher, and if you're more of a driver, then the sweet spot should be lower in the bat. And it also causes difference in the feel of the bat. Usually the bats with the lower sweet spot feel a little bit heavier because the bat is usually attracted more towards the ground and it's easier to drive through when you're hitting the ball. It also depends on the quality of a bat, like how much you want to spend on your bat. Usually expensive bats have thicker edges, and then cheaper bats have smaller edges because cheaper woods are much heavier than the expensive woods. Expensive woods, higher grade willows, usually have low weight, so even though there's much more meat left in the bat, it's still quite lighter. For example, this bat is a Kookaburra one, and it's a grade 3 English willow. And so the sweet spot here is somewhere over here, and then the sweet spot, you just need to turn the backside of your bat and you can see that where the bat bulges, it's the sweet spot. So the sweet spot here is from somewhere around here to here, and then the meat over here, you can just see it, the meat over here is as big over here. So usually what it means is that if the ball hits somewhere from here to here, the impact is much higher. And then the lighter bats, usually the compensation should be made out of meat. So if the bat is lighter, that means the more wood should be taken out, and then the design becomes sleeker, the meat goes down and the sweet spot reduces. As a result, the ping also goes down. So what you have to keep in mind is you want a bigger build bat under the regulation of ICC. ICC just made last year they made a rule of the dimension of the bat because the sweet spot were too big. They wanted to reduce the sweet spot, reduce the edges. As a result, the meat went down in the bat. And another way that bat manufacturers compensate are the number of scalloping towards the edges. As a result, if you have too thick of a sweet spot, you also need to keep in mind your bat is not as strong and it's much more brittle towards the top. So you need to make sure that a bat is well built and it's not too bigger around the edges. For example, this one's a more classical bat. It's a New Balance 580. So here the sweet spots are much more scalloped, and it's a little bit lower than the other bat, so that it's better for driving and more of a classic batsman. The scalloping has been removed quite a lot, so that the middle is much more meaty and the ping is much more in the sweet spot. You also need to keep in mind is that good batsmen usually hit the sweet spot much more often, and even if the sweet spot's lower or smaller, they are good at scoring shots, and then they are used to capitalize with even a smaller sweet spot in their bat. So it usually depends in the batsman as well if they're getting maximum value for the shots, but it's always good to buy a bat, and you have to keep in mind that you're using the same bat because different bat has different sweet spot. And if you're used to hitting balls with a bat with a sweet spot somewhere here, and then you change your bat and the sweet spot goes over here, there's high chances that you're going to hit the ball in the air because you're used to hitting the ball over here most of the time. And it's easier to adjust to sweet spot if you're knocking down with the bowling machine or even throwdowns. So once you drive the ball and then you can play more with the same bat or same design or same model, you're much more benefited and it's much more easier to get more runs. So that's all from sweet spot. So that's my suggestions, and I hope it's useful while you're buying a cricket bat. See you next time in Garage Cricket with another material. Thank you.